legalization of weed, it's going on. It's a huge industry these days.
Oh yeah.
And it's
big.
It's going on all over the place. It's being legalized left and right, federally eventually, I'm sure. Just based on tax dollars and things of that
I'm
nature.
not so sure. You know, weed was plentiful on the black market. Prices would drop because everybody had it. Everybody was just trying to sell
It was abundant, yeah.
So there's a dispensary every 13 blocks. What
Oh,
happens
yes.
if you're stupid to begin with and you spend your life drinking and smoking and
you don't
doing
get
whatever,
smarter.
you don't get
Yes.
smarter.
No, you definitely don't. I agree.
Chances are your life's going to be really hard.
I will
at some point.
Well,
Yeah.
why have they allowed that to happen, though? You know what I mean?
Why they allowed what?
Like safe injection sites to let people, the homeless encampments, I mean, that's all that all became a shithole because of opiates. Welcome to Universal Confusion Podcast, episode 28. Bradley,
Yes, sir.
what should our viewers and listeners be doing?
They need to be heading over to YouTube right now. Going over there, liking, subscribing, hitting that bell notification. That way you can catch all of our content. Windale.
Oh. No, we do all new shorts every Tuesday and Thursday, full podcast every Friday. Dale, where else can they find us?
Well, me. You guys can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Samsung Podcast. Follow us on X, Facebook, and also, for you commies, TikTok.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's get into it. What's the subject for today, boys?
So y'all want to talk about weed?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, marijuana. I mean, weed's a slang term, and we don't know that everybody knows that.
We don't
Grass.
know,
Somebody might think it's a fucking like landscaping podcast.
we don't know what
wanna
the
make
kids are
anything
calling it these
confused.
days.
Who landscapes weeds?
Drug dealers.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I
to
think
know.
that's the point of this podcast anyway, from what I understand, is the legalization of weed. It's going on. It's a huge industry these days.
Oh yeah,
And
big.
it's going on all over the place. It's being legalized left and right, federally eventually, I'm sure, just based on tax dollars and things of that
I'm
nature.
not so sure.
No, you don't think so? Okay, well, we'll get into that, I'm sure. But so what were the effects of the industry when they decided to legalize it? How did it change? How did both pricing-wise, availability-wise, is it better now to go to like a dispensary to get your marijuana? Or is it still better to go to the guy you've always gone to down the street in the wife beater and just pick it up from him? So, I mean, I think that's what the topic of discussion is going to be for today.
I prefer to buy locally.
Okay, yeah. Support your local
Drug
farmers.
dealers, farmers.
I was thinking farmers.
Yeah, I mean, the dispensaries are nice because you can get like lots of variety, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a lot of choice, but some dispensaries are very expensive in comparison to what you would normally pay. So
Right. Well, and here's my question, not being a giant connoisseur any longer. I used to be in my younger days, but never when it was legal to do so. So I hope the statute of
Breaking
limitations.
the law.
I hope the statute of limitations is
on your
ran out
smoking weed.
on the
that they're-
smoking of my
they're coming for
marijuana
you
when I
right
was
now.
younger.
What year did you smoke it?
Yeah.
There's a warrant out, bitch.
They're coming.
They're coming. I hear them
as soon
outside
as you
right now.
leave here, they're gonna pull you over.
Just for that.
We
heard
heard you on the podcast, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, they pay close attention to this podcast. I know that for a fact.
I know they monitor it. at
I know
all
the
times.
NSA is, but that's besides the point.
But so I guess
Whole
my
different-
question is, so how did the legalization of weed and going to a dispensary to get it, obviously that's legal, but then after you have it, what are the legalities behind having it, right? Like the possession wise. So,
It's kind
I
of
mean, you obviously can't just drive around smoking a joint. I assume that is still illegal.
Yeah.
yes,
As far as I know, you
pretty
can't,
much like beer, I would assume.
Well, yeah, you can't have open weed containers in the vehicle. So my understanding, and I'm not a fucking lawyer, so
It's real easy to close
is-
a Ziploc
it's
bag.
like, well, yeah, but you
Well,
can't
but
have
you
it.
can't
You can't
close
have
a
a
bowl.
Ziploc bag in your car of weed. Like that's
That's
still,
what I'm asking,
That's
'cause
still illegal.
That's the era I
You-
was in.
It has to be a sealed, trackable purchase because they all have barcodes on them now and stuff like that.
So it has to be in the original packaging.
Like if you go to a dispensary, they'll actually put your stuff in a bag, they close it, staple it, and they hand it to you.
Well, no, I mean like
that's-
individual purchases are usually sealed though. Like
Oh yeah, the individual ones are,
like
but
if you're buying gummies, or you're buying this, or that bag is sealed. You have to tear the top and open it up to actually get the product. And
just like
and
a
if it's torn and opened,
food
then-
safety
then
standard.
that would give police reason to have
suspect.
suspicion.
So it's basically like open container.
correct.
Okay. And then what's any idea as far as like what is the punishment if you are caught?
Ticket.
Is it a ticket like
Probably.
for open container basically or
I thought it was a chaining. No,
chaining?
I did beat you with a chain. They
Oh.
don't do that anymore.
I don't know if they do or not.
That cop lied to me, but whatever.
That
That was for his own
wasn't a chaining. That was a training.
That's a different story.
he also never found any weed on you. so-
And he didn't even pull you over. You went over to him. I remember this.
He walked out to him.
Dude, I was really high. Don't exactly remember how it went down.
So our understanding is it's pretty similar to alcohol then, as far as
Well,
like,
I-
transportation.
Yeah, I think different
Yeah.
cops treat it differently too. Because
I
I
would
think
say.
I think that there's some cops that still believe wholeheartedly that if you're under the influence of marijuana, it's just as bad as alcohol, and that they're going to give you a DUI. And I think they can, and I think you
Right.
would actually be charged with it. But
Seems to me like that would be a little
much
harder
harder-
to prove.
so much harder to prove.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that.
Well, yeah, because it's hard to prove that you were on it at that moment unless you
Right.
couldn't pass the sobriety test. I guess that
The
would be-
agility test they
Yeah,
give
if
you?
they were like,
agility, yes,
but, like,
exactly.
yeah, I don't. Other than that, it would be like he had Funyuns. We saw him.
That-
Mountain Dew.
that one skit
Flamin'
where
hot
it's like,
Doritos.
I just have one question: would you like some nacho cheese Doritos and a Mountain Dew? And they're like, "Oh, give me that shit." He's like, "Get out of the car."
Guilty. All right. So, I mean, I guess so similar to alcohol. So, how about price wise? So, and
Yeah.
I'm talking old school, right? I used to buy an eighth for 60 back in the day, and it was some good stuff. Price wise, how is the price movement work with it being legalized? Because I assume,
right there.
really? Well, I assume that the dispensaries can charge whatever the fuck they want, right?
Prices all over the place. Depends on where you are.
Well, if like around here, it's probably about that between like 45 to 60 for an eighth, and then your same progressively up.
dude, it was $70 an ounce when I was a kid.
But I was gonna say if you can get it,
The brick
Like-
shit.
No, it was actually
Like-
really
It was
good. It
definitely
was
the
it was
brick.
good mids, man.
Okay.
It was
Good
good mids.
Mids.
I
Dude,
love
mids.
that.
Good mids for 70.
Don't scoop those mids.
well, dude, and that's like out in California. They had Hyper Wolf, and that was like DoorDash weed delivery.
Okay.
So you'd go on their website and be like, "Brr," and they actually had like pretty good prices. You could get usually like 7 grams for about 60 to 75 bucks,
Which is a quarter, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. Yes. Okay.
But there's other states that you can go to and you can buy an ounce of fucking marijuana for like $70.
yeah. Thanks,
because-
Michigan.
Yes, sir. Because the competition
I mean,
has gone up so much. There's so many dispensaries in that state now that it's actually competition like it used to be when, weed was plentiful on the black market. Prices would drop because everybody had it. Everybody was just trying to sell
It
it.
was abundant. Yeah.
So there's a dispensary every 13 blocks.
Right.
And so they have to compete. And now it's crazy, dude. You'll buy they'll have shit like 10 ace for $100. Like
yeah.
crazy ass fucking deals. Up
Yeah.
there and shit.
Michigan goes, yeah, they
So,
go hard on
it's,
them deals.
it's- whereas here, like, it's still
Old school price.
very highly taxed,
Yeah.
very high prices. There's not a lot of dispensaries, very state controlled.
Yeah, because I was going
I'm
to
pretty
say
sure Pritzker
that's the
owns it
only
all.
thing I hadn't even got to. Yeah, you mentioned the taxes on it, and it's like you walk in and it's like, oh, you let's say you order online from like Philly, then it's like $60. Then when you walk in, it's going to be like, okay, you're going to have their normal state tax, but then they have like a THC level tax, depending on the strength of the purchase. The actual THC
Really?
percentage,
I didn't know
it's
that.
actually taxed up.
See, that's
So they
kind
add
of
an
an
additional.
Illinois
So you
thing.
walk out paying almost like
That
$70.
seems like it
So
would be an
it's-
Illinois
it'd
thing.
be an
for
Illinois
sure.
thing because it is. I mean, even like a weed, dispensary would be guided with corruption from the local government.
I mean, you
'Cause
know,
it's
like
not like
no
well,
way.
you know,
No.
if it takes a
Man.
little bit of like gouging to get it here,
Yeah, you don't have a problem. I could see that you wouldn't have a problem.
I mean,
with that.
like, what do you do? It's like they did the same thing to cigarettes.
Oh yeah, no cigarettes. I think what is it, $3.90 or something on every pack of cigarettes is tax.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is actually constitutionally illegal.
We've
you're
had this
not
conversation,
supposed
yeah.
to be able to
The
put
sin
a
tax,
sin tax
right.
on alcohol and cigarettes and marijuana
Well, because
to dissuade people from using, because that's what it's for.
But okay,
Yeah,
so
and that's bullshit.
But they want you to use because they want you to pay.
Of
the
course they do,
taxes.
because they make a lot of tax money off
Don't
of
do
that
this stuff.
shit.
It's
Yeah.
bad for you.
Yeah.
Makes you feel great.
well, the other
Don't
side
do
of that
it.
coin though is, I mean, and everyone can complain about taxes all they want when it comes to like buying the products or whatever. Which personally, I believe the only taxes should be on purchasing products.
Sure.
Not all the other stuff we pay taxes for. It's the one I'm actually okay with. But I think that the tax money being collected or available tax money to be collected on it is at least probably a large portion of why they decided it would be a good idea to legalize it in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
to complain
Oh, yeah.
about having to pay taxes on it seems counterproductive for what you wanted to achieve, which was legalization anyway.
Well,
Does that make sense?
oh yeah, absolutely.
I was gonna say, what kills me about the whole taxes, it's fine, I'll pay my taxes. You want to tax some of this stuff at a higher rate? Sure, I get it. But they should be using that extra money for better social programs. And the social programs in our state
It's terrible.
blow ass.
Terrible.
So basically they're using that money to make themselves richer and fatter.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say
least from what I can
Pritzker's got to
see.
get an exercise belt now. Oh man, all this
Well,
weed money
no,
all
coming
that
in.
custom clothing
I
has
get
got to
it.
be expensive.
I get it because I see the same thing every year when I go sign my kids up for public school, and it costs me $300 and $400 to sign them up for public school when the lottery money was supposed to be going to the schools.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So where's that money
yeah.
going?
Or the toll roads.
Or
Yeah,
the toll roads are supposed to pay for the roads.
You know what I would like to see?
No, it's paying off
is
the
a
Chinese.
Yeah, it is.
Pritzker Chris Christie sumo wrestling match.
Okay.
That would be funny. What I would like to see
That'd be a good
is
bill.
like the behind the scenes
Celebrity death match.
of how the kid from Willy Wonka grew up to actually become the governor of Illinois. It seems really strange.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that dude talking
You know,
about
the one that got stuck in the tube.
Yeah.
well, it's still
Oh, I'm a blueberry.
and I don't want this to just be a shit on Illinois podcast, although that's a good idea for a podcast.
There's a lot
I have a
there's
hard-
a lot of corn there.
Yeah. I have a hard time taking Pritzker
it's
serious.
really not Illinois. It's mostly Chicago.
Well, yeah, but he's always telling us, we
Their
need
politics.
tax revenue. We need tax revenue. This is the same dude that pulled the toilets out of his mansion so that he didn't have to pay tax on his mansion.
Yeah.
So a guy willing to go
Oh,
through
yeah.
those lengths to avoid taxes shouldn't really be preaching to me about how I need to pay my taxes.
I don't
Yeah.
think the Illinois government passed recreational marijuana legislation altruistically.
Okay.
I feel like they maybe had some.
Gotcha. Hey, in lieu of this next point I'm about to make, can you pull up a map of the United States of the states where it's legal? Marijuana is legal.
Recreational.
Recreational. Yeah, not medicinal. So I guess my next point is, and kind of the thorn in the side of this thing for me anyway, is that it seems like, at least initially, and I'm pulling the map up because I want to know if I'm wrong or not, but it seems like the Dem-run states were the first ones to get on board. And I'm all for the legalization of weed. I don't think it's a big deal.
Well, oh yeah.
but
I think it's only
Are
blue
we going to make
states.
this political?
I'm just
I'd like
saying,
to.
as I would consider myself
I don't think weed made it
a
political.
libertarian,
I just think it
leaning
kind of is.
towards
Weed's not
conservative, and the fact that the
Well, they
Democratic
do
ran states were the first ones to kind of implement
Yeah,
this.
it's all basically blue states are the ones where it went legal.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, blue overall. Like the thing of it is, like Illinois,
yeah.
Illinois is considered a blue state. But when you look at an actual voting map of Illinois,
It's only Chicago.
Well, yeah.
it's literally a couple big cities,
Yeah.
and the rest of the state.
Cook County,
is-
Lake County,
rural,
and wherever
Republican,
Peoria is, and
conservative.
Champaign.
Yeah.
You're
There's
like
four
a
counties.
18-year-old kid and all of a sudden,
I think
oh, dude, that dude Pritzker legalized weed. Hell yeah, I'm voting for that guy.
Well, I mean, I guess that's my
I mean-
question: is do you think
Oh,
that
yeah.
that played a part in
Absolutely.
the legalization process?
100%. Yeah, but like I think a lot of conservatives also smoke weed. They just don't go, I'm going to vote for you because you
Right.
legalize weed.
They just don't admit
I was
it.
gonna
I
do
can
it
get
anyway.
it anyway. I don't
Yeah.
fucking need you to tell me that I can do
The
this.
rebel is
Fuck
strong
you.
in them.
I didn't
yes.
need you to
Yeah.
tell me I couldn't do this in the first
Well,
place.
I agree.
conservatives
I
won't
agree.
say anything. They'll be like, they really want the weed legalized, but they won't say they want it. Also, these are also conservatives that have like, women on the side and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Why does it got to be conservatives? Because Democrats usually just have.
Well, they're out in the open with it.
Well, Democrats don't have women. They have something else on the side. They're just not sure what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
They have whole islands to go to.
I'm non-binary.
I'm not here to shit on Democrats. It's just funny
It's
Like they don't care.
So
It's
No,
easy,
it
though.
was literally my question was about Democrats. So
because they like to be shit on anyway. Most of them.
Yeah, what was the first
I've seen
state
the
to
It had to be
legalize it? I
Colorado,
think it
right?
was Colorado.
It had to
right?
be Colorado.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, no, Colorado was the leader. I mean,
I was gonna
it's
say-
cold, so what are you gonna do? You might as well smoke some weed.
Yeah.
It's probably like Oregon or Washington.
No, it was Colorado.
was it
first.
Colorado?
At least that was the recent information in my brain. If I'm wrong, then I'm not a fucking.
Well, I guess where was
Weed
it first
specialist or
legalized, and
whatever.
then where was it decriminalized? Because in California,
Yeah, there was some
you
of
know
that.
what I mean, that you have the Emerald Triangle, and
That's true. Where it was decriminalized, you basically got a ticket for it. You didn't go to jail for it.
Well, but see, there
Exactly.
was cops that were already
Which is
doing
what-
that
Colorado
that-
and Washington.
like,
the
in
first
states
year.
that were illegal weren't necessarily arresting kids. They were giving them ordinance tickets and shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, same with like underage drinking. I mean,
Right.
that's kind of discretionary to the cop. I think depends on where he's at.
Are you being an
Where he
asshole?
grew up.
Or
Right.
are you
Yeah.
being cool?
Right, right.
right?
Like,
Were you,
You know,
drinking
that-
quietly to yourself and I just caught you, or were you in public being a nuisance?
Yeah, being an ass. Yeah,
like most underage drinkers.
drinkers. Yeah.
So what's the downfall of legalizing marijuana?
Hmm.
Well, okay, so I have a theory on this.
Okay.
Food shortages of Hostess.
That's
They were
good for
out
them,
of
though.
nacho cheese Doritos at Walmart. I was pissed.
Hostess is having a hard
Oh,
time
I-
keeping up production.
Hostess
No, I,
stock is through the roof.
So what I believe when it comes to psychosomatic, am I saying that right? Drugs. Everybody's kind of born with a certain amount of intelligence, and that's a hard thing to measure, but a certain amount of just wherewithal,
The ability
At
to
least
comprehend
potential
their
intelligence.
surroundings.
potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think some are born with less. And
I'm
I
sure.
I don't
Yeah.
think psychoactive drugs have a positive effect on your intelligence. I think some of them could have a positive effect on your life experiences and the way you think about things. I think some psychedelics could change your mind. But I think that, just giving it to anybody, fuck, man.
Well, and to that effect, I think age, and I think rightfully so, that there is an age restriction on buying marijuana legally.
As there should be.
Yeah.
I think age has a lot to do with that. If brain development, things of that
Mhm.
nature. So I think that
Oh yeah.
That's what I've always told my kids. You do whatever drugs you want after you graduate college or whatever the hell you're
because the chances are they're not going to
Like-
go doing hard drugs after they graduate
Right.
college.
Get your education.
grown up.
During college.
Get your education,
Right.
and then.
Yeah, if you get through those woods, you're probably
Right.
okay on the other
But I
side.
think there's I said to a common friend of ours at one point in time, because he was hitting it pretty hard, man, and I said to him, I was like, hey man, everybody's born with a certain amount of intelligence, and the more drugs you do, the less you have. And I was like, guys like me, they're gonna be okay. Guys like you, and I pointed at our other coworker, and you know who I'm talking about, and he looked and was like, oh fuck, you're right. That's what happens if you're stupid to begin with, and you spend your life drinking and smoking and
you don't
doing
get
whatever.
smarter.
You don't get
Yes.
smarter.
No, you definitely don't. I agree.
Chances are your life's going to be really hard
I will
at some point.
say 100%. Alcohol has destroyed more of my brain than marijuana
Oh, yeah.
ever will.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, dude.
I believe that 100%.
Oh, alcohol
I,
versus pot, like, not even a question.
yeah.
Alcohol's way more dangerous, way more harmful.
Yeah.
no, I agree.
Like, dude.
So anything
That's a
else?
fact.
I've
And-
never
oh,
smoked so much weed. I've like thrown up and been like felt like garbage for 3 days.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
He
like,
didn't throw up from the weed. He threw up from eating a whole cake. and a
yeah,
pan
it
of
might have
fries.
been. It might have been the piece.
Sugar.
Oh, the
I need
7
more.
gallons of ice cream.
It's the
Well,
munchies
fuck
that get
yeah.
ya.
We were over at Hidden Cove. I just threw some kid's birthday cake on top of my pizza, rolled it, and ate that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Right. No,
Hidden
I mean,
Cove.
no high dude has ever
That's
just been
fine. We were
walking-
at Chuck E. Cheese, dude, and I threw some kid's birthday cake.
Yeah.
I like the Hidden Cove one.
But you just don't hear about high driving accidents. I'm not saying they don't happen, but I mean,
Yeah, no, I hear you.
drunk
Well,
driving
shit, I
accidents
dropped
take a
my
lot of
weed.
lives. High driving accidents generally end up with a dude needing to be pulled out of the ditch because he wasn't paying attention.
You said the dude. You know, that actually happened in the movie The Big Lebowski where
Yeah.
the sweater comes from. Where he dropped his roach in between his
Mhm.
legs and he crashed into the garbage cans.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that could have been a cell phone.
I would
as
honestly,
easily.
I would
man.
honestly argue that texting while driving
is more dangerous.
is more dangerous than
Definitely.
smoking weed and driving at this point. Because I had a lady behind me that I was watching, dude. I went by Kohl's earlier today and was coming all the way back here, and as I'm driving down 50, she's riding my ass, and every time I look in the rearview mirror, she's looking down. So I was making sure that I was like stopping early and giving her time
Yeah.
to actually look back the fuck up so she didn't rear end me.
Yeah.
And I was almost
It's
certain
bad when
she was
you have
going
to drive for her and she's behind you.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
No, but I mean,
See,
my
that's
point.
kind of where I wish I had, like, you know, occasionally, like a truck like you've got, where you could just,
I'd be like,
whoa, and hit those brakes just a little bit, and she's just gonna
Oh,
smash
dude, she
into
had a
the fucking.
Mitsubishi something, and I'm sure she would have smashed her vehicle up on the back of the glass.
oh yeah,
But
for sure.
I don't really fucking want to deal with this right now, man. I just kind of want to go on with my day.
Dale's driving, smoking some reefer. Last
Yeah,
thing he needs is
dude,
someone to
I'm
crash
fucking-
in the back of him.
Now I'm
Yeah.
getting investigated.
No, I mean, you
Yeah.
never really see
That
it,
bitch
like
was texting the whole time, ruined my
Yeah.
fucking life.
you never see like two high guys arguing over one like looked at the other one's girlfriend's ass or anything like
No,
that. Like,
no.
that's more of a drunk thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean,
Weed doesn't usually give you
increase
an
your ego. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Like, yeah, more like.
One high guy comes up to another high guy and he's like, "Your girlfriend's so hot." He'd be like, "I know,
Bro,
right?
I know. I'm so
Dude,
hot,
cut
man.
her out, bro."
Here, dude, hit
I
this.
can't even believe
You
she's
say that to a
with me.
drunk
I got
guy,
new
immediately
photos,
punch
man,
in the
look.
face.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to
absolutely.
fight?
Yeah, they
No,
start
I
doing
think-
that.
Well, and I think Rogan made a really good point, man. Like, seriously, weed's not legal. What are we doing? Let's stop the baby shit.
Yeah.
Let's stop the.
Yeah.
You don't need to baby us, government. We can handle our shit.
All right,
They-
so on that, I agree on that part.
and I know you don't. I know you don't partake. So
we
that's-
talk about like individual negatives. What about like societal?
societal as far as marijuana goes.
Right. I mean, what
Just
other
collectively?
impacts? Because
Oh,
I guess we could look
yeah.
at like San
No, you're
Francisco.
absolutely right. It took
Like,
me.
where would it go from there?
I
Right?
sat in line, and I want to say it was a Sonic or something. I can't remember exactly what it was in Michigan. I sat in line long enough in the drive-through line, long enough to leave because I'm pretty sure everybody was so high. They had just legalized
Stop making
marijuana,
food.
and I think all the workers were so fucking stoned, nothing was getting done. So, I mean, there is some of
A
that.
dumbing down of society.
There is, yeah, a
Or-
little
I
bit.
have
A little bit.
never been to a Sonic that was good.
I've never been to a
I-
Sonic.
that was my first Sonic experience. and I'll
Yeah.
never go
It's
back.
like
Oh, dude,
glorified.
I never even
it's-
got my food.
Sonic is like glorified fair, like carnival food.
Is it?
Okay,
I've
me.
never been, so I have no idea.
I mean,
I won't ever be now.
it's nothing that I would say like, oh my
It was
god,
like-
it's
it's-
amazing.
It's like they
The
want to be
commercials
like a
look nice, man.
50s,
They spend
like,
a lot of
you know,
marketing.
yeah,
like a
drive-through
50s
bullshit.
style, like
Yeah.
roller
Yeah.
skate up diner type place,
like
and it tastes
old
like the food
school.
was made in the 50s.
Like
Like had
it's-
this giant
they're just
storage.
been around
Oh,
since the
fuck, the
50s.
same company
Under
that's
the
got candy
warmer for-
corn
yeah,
has
73
has
years.
The fucking
they bought out the
Sonic's
dog and
food.
suds stock and just
Yeah.
put it in their own stores.
yes,
Mainly.
dude. It's
So yeah, no, I think it slows people down a little bit. I don't think that, but on that same note, I don't think someone who is highly intelligent that is smoking marijuana, it's going to change their productivity. I think it may lower the productivity of someone who's not productive anyway.
To start,
You know, when I used to smoke,
well,
it used to make me it really turned on the logical part of my brain.
Right.
To where I would overthink things.
everything.
And then also
Yeah, that'll
it
happen.
actually would like inspire me to like be a better person in certain situations.
Exactly. Like you start to think about what you did, and like if you were in the wrong and you would
Yeah.
realize it later and actually
Right.
be like, dude, I feel compelled to go and apologize to this person and make amends.
Or
Marijuana makes you a pussy.
yeah,
It really
Basically.
does.
I wasn't gonna go there. I was gonna go. It makes you go maybe a little more internal versus external.
Right.
Right?
Well-
It makes you kind of in your own head more.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it turns you into like for shit you normally be like, fuck that, I'm not even gonna worry about that. It makes
That's me
It makes
normally.
you think about it a little bit more and go, fuck, maybe I should have thought about that a little bit more.
right.
And I think that's good for some people. I don't think that's good for society as a whole, because I think what it does is it makes us more complacent, and what happens is you get more control, more complacent population. I have a feeling that that's why, going back to the whole why Democratic states, liberal states have legalized marijuana first.
I was getting
because
there. I was kind of hoping you get there
it's
first.
a
though.
lot easier to control a population that's stoned out of their fucking mind than it is to control a population that isn't.
Well, I mean,
um,
what kind of population control are they doing in,
Well,
say,
just
like
keep it-
Seattle and
keep-
San Francisco,
well,
where you
that-
got
That
the
place is
fentanyl
just-
epidemic, and people are shitting on the streets and
You
robbing people.
talking about
and-
Baghdad too? I don't. I don't know,
Right?
dude. Like these
I
cities.
mean,
But
Cities are
that was
fucked.
garbage before weed.
cities are
Right,
fucked.
Portland,
but I'm
Portland
saying-
was a shithole before weed.
They're hoping the
Yeah,
rednecks
you
get
know?
high enough where we don't actually do anything, and unfortunately for them, we still.
but
Yeah.
why have they allowed that to happen, though? You know what I mean?
Why they allowed what?
Like safe injection sites to let people, the homeless encampments, I mean,
No,
was that that's all that all became a shithole because of opiates.
Yeah, which the
That's- and, like-
pharmaceuticals push
Oh,
in
yeah.
the
Right.
first fucking place.
No, that's true.
Well,
There
yeah,
was
It's
I
not
mean,
weed
big,
that did
Big
that.
Pharma's doing a lot more.
You don't see
Yeah.
people
lot of shit
nodding
behind the
out on the
scenes.
street on
Oh
their
wait,
feet
shit!
on
We're not
weed.
supposed to talk about Big
No.
Pharma on YouTube. My
No,
bad.
yeah, no, we can't bring up the P company or
Yeah.
the M company, or we can't do that.
The
Oh,
C
shit.
word.
Yeah,
Advil.
You know,
Cunt?
20 minus
Yeah.
1.
I heard
Yeah.
marijuana prevents COVID. Oh, can I not say that?
No,
Is that?
No, literally.
I heard that also. We'll beep it.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, like,
partially
literally,
false
like,
information.
if you
fact check.
want this to get pushed, no, we can't mention those words.
Oh, fuck them.
Well, yeah, but I want views.
Yes,
So
like and subscribe.
No one wants to look at you.
So what about so my other thought on the
Look at
legalization
me,
thing is how are they
bitches.
handling, because again I don't know, how are employers handling like drug screenings and things like that? 'Cause,
My
I mean,
company doesn't even test anymore.
Yeah, no, it's changed a
In
lot.
Illinois
well,
and Michigan. In Indiana,
some big
where it's
companies-
illegal, they do.
You definitely can't.
Illinois, Michigan, they don't even
You
test.
definitely can't
for
go
it.
into a nuke plant and fail a weed test. They're not going to let you in.
It's
So-
all
well,
company. It's
yeah,
what the
it's not
company
the
wants
company,
to do.
Yeah.
It's at
Correct.
the company's
Well,
discretion, is
yes.
what
yeah,
you're saying.
and from what
Absolutely.
I'm understanding is like even like when I was out in California, Big O Tires did test for marijuana.
Just so they knew like what to get
They
you for a
they wouldn't
Christmas
hire
bonus?
you if you fail.
Oh, they wouldn't hire you. So it,
You
Even-
can't smoke weed there.
okay, so it is very much up to the
Yeah, I had to
company's
wait like
discretion.
2 months for it to clear my system,
Man, this is getting personal.
which sucked. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like,
But then you start
I'm
smoking.
like-
Started smoking weed again once you were hired.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Making
I mean, no.
What
They're
does it matter
watching
now?
and they're like,
You
"Oh,
don't
never
work there.
hire
No,
him
I-
again."
I
They can't
Absolutely.
take your checks back now. That
Are you
money's
moving
been
back
spent.
to Cali? Going to look for a fucking
Oh yeah,
look for a job at the Big O? Are you?
you know it.
Big O tires.
You got to go
What
in
a
there with your
player.
O face on.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess let's wrap this up a little bit.
That's a good
Net
one.
negative or net
Oh.
positive in the
I wish they had
legalization
shirts
of
like-
marijuana? What's the consensus?
What's that?
I think not.
Sorry, I
positive.
missed that
net
question.
positive or net negative? Just overall, personal, societal.
It's
all that.
Personal. It's
It's-
personal freedom that's increased, and I think that's important. I think
that's a
the
good thing.
government needs to stay out of our fucking
I
business.
think that's a good
I,
check.
I agree
Uh,
on that part.
Yeah,
It's only been
and-
like
and-
100 years.
and
Yeah.
it would be.
You know
like,
what I mean? Since they,
Yeah.
Since one
It-
guy decided it was
I
illegal.
mean, you could drink laudanum. You know, people were doing drugs back then. I mean, like Coca-Cola used to have
cocaine
cocaine
was
in
still legal.
Coca-Cola.
When marijuana wasn't.
Right,
true?
I understand.
Yeah,
Reefer
they
Madness.
outlawed marijuana before they
Yeah,
outlawed
that's true.
cocaine.
Really?
That
I
is
did
true.
not know
Absolutely.
that.
and
I didn't know
heroin
that.
too.
Governmental control of what I do.
Big-
with my body.
big business.
My body,
in the
my
government.
choice. My body, my choice.
Yeah. Okay, so net positive.
My foot, your
right?
ass.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, net positive. It could even be greater if
I mean,
you
you're
know,
gonna have
it's
some
like
dum dums, but
money-
you're gonna have that
well, I was
no
gonna say,
matter
but
what.
That's true.
you know, like again, like beer does alcohol is far worse. Does
Oh yeah,
kills way more people than marijuana ever will.
and it's still
Oh, yeah.
it's always been legal. Well, there was a little.
prohibition.
Remember what happened when they tried to make alcohol illegal? That didn't turn out so
No,
well.
it
No,
didn't.
that didn't work out well.
Got a lot of bad people really,
Really
rich.
wealthy. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And they-
and
Good
also it's
job,
like
guys.
you got to think of though like marijuana compared to the other things that's destroying society. It's like fentanyl. That's like the big killer.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Alcohol, yeah, that
No,
that is
opioids-
worse than weed.
The opioids,
The
and they just keep
opioids,
making them
yeah.
stronger.
Yeah.
Do we really need something 17 times stronger than heroin? Because I think something like that is
50
what
times stronger.
50 strong.
Like
Yeah,
heroin, like
oh,
more
heroin's not good
heroin
enough.
wasn't.
Yeah, right.
don't hit me with 100 volts. Hit me with 25,000 volts.
Exactly,
right
right.
in the head.
I want to get so high I die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a wise man once said,
that's
it
where we're
might
at.
be the morphine talking, but can I have some more morphine?
I don't want to feel anything.
Yeah. You got a dart in your neck, man.
All right. Well, we pretty much solved it. I
Yeah.
think we got a good handle on it. I got a lot of my questions answered. So
I think.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the only thing
you could go a lot deeper on this,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
could get into like the nitty gritty of where the money's going and talk about politics all day.
I think that's a
But-
good
Part
idea
two.
for a part 2 at some
Yeah.
point down the road.
I
here.
think we should do some investigations before we bring all that stuff up.
Well, and what I
Get
would
our
also
ducks in a row.
well, and what I would also like is maybe some comments under this video
Oh, from
of maybe-
people.
maybe from real people
How do you guys?
Yeah,
of
please.
subjects surrounding this that you would like to know our opinions on,
Yeah.
or maybe you just don't care about.
Do
our
you agree
opinions,
or
which is fine,
disagree?
too. Yeah, agree,
How do you
disagree.
feel? Like if you're negative on it, hey, go for it. Let us know.
Yeah,
And,
you want to wrap her up?
I think I
We
do.
like that
I
discussion.
just have one thing to say, and hopefully someone can follow this up. But just be excellent to each
My dang old truck, my dang old pickup truck, and my dog. Who hit my wife?